Welcome back. In this lecture we are going to take a look at using the pen tool to draw shapes. Notice on the Layers panel that currently there is a single layer named Background. This layer was automatically created when the PNG file was opened in Photoshop. There is a lock on the layer that we will keep so that the layer cannot be altered. If you want to remove the lock, then you have to double click on the background layer in the Layers panel. A new layer box has now popped up and we click OK. We will leave the layer named 0. Notice that the layer in the panel is now unlocked and the background layer has been renamed. We could now alter this layer, or we could lock the layer again by clicking the lock icon. However, we don't want this for these lectures, and to keep the original background layer for this document, we will use the History panel to undo the change. We go to the History panel tab and click. This opens up the History panel. With Make Layer highlighted, we click on the bin icon. Click Yes to delete State Make Layer. You could have also used the Edit function in the menu bar. Let's unlock the background layer again and use the menu Edit function to undo the change. Notice the shortcut keys are Ctrl+Z. Also, if you want to use the shortcut keys to do more than one undo, you need to use Step Backwards shortcut, which is Alt+Ctrl+Z. Otherwise, you will undo the undo. We select the pen tool. Let's start on the top left-hand pencil sketch. Notice that in the pen options bar, Shape is selected. Also, no fill and no stroke is selected. That is, the small white boxes with the red line through. Auto Add and Delete box is also selected and the rubber band box is selected. Click and release. Click and drag. Click and drag. Click, click. Click and drag. Click and drag. Click and drag. Click and drag. And finally back to the starting point and click and drag. You will notice that when we were back at the starting point, a small circle appeared. This is called closing the path. Also, did you notice the small black square formed when you were clicking or using click and drag? These small black squares are called anchor points. Don't worry that it is not quite exactly like the pencil sketch shape, as we will edit this in the next lecture. Notice that a new layer has appeared called Shape 1. This was automatically created by Photoshop when you made your first click. This is why we selected Shape in the Pen Tool options bar. The background layer has not been altered. A tip when using Pen Tool: after closing Path, click on the Move tool to deselect the pen tool, as otherwise you can end up clicking and creating multiple shapes. We will quickly create the second shape and then we will go through creating the third shape. We will be using techniques on the second shape that you will learn to use on the third shape. Select the pen tool again, click and release. Click and drag, hold down the Alt key after click and drag. Go back to the anchor point. You will see a small V. Click on the anchor point and it will delete the adjustment handle in the direction that the curve was going. We will now complete the third shape using all the techniques learned so far. We now have a Photoshop document with 4 layers, a background layer and 3 shape layers. In the next lecture, we will learn how to use the Direct Selection tool, where we can edit and amend the shapes that we have just made.